Welcome to Radiant Mom Rising. Get ready to be inspired, empowered, and uplifted. I'm your host, Mary Dibble, and in each episode, we dive into amazing stories, insights, and conversations that help moms like you chase your dreams and embrace your worth. Let's rise and shine together. Okay, today's episode is one of those conversations that I think so many moms in business are going to connect with because it's real, not the polished highlight reel version of entrepreneurship, but the version where you're figuring things out as you go, raising kids at the same time, making sacrifices, taking risks, and trying to build something meaningful for your family. And honestly, Ashley's story is just so inspiring because it reminds you that massive growth often starts in ordinary moments. Late nights, small opportunities, uncomfortable decisions, tiny steps that don't seem huge at the time. And yet, those are often the moments that change everything. What I loved about this conversation is how grounded Ashley is. She's incredibly successful, but still so relatable, humble, and honest about the process of building a business while navigating motherhood and real life. We talk about community, consistency, taking messy action, learning to ask for support, and creating a business that actually gives your family more freedom instead of less. And if you're someone who's ever looked at your dreams and wondered, can I really do this? I think this episode is going to encourage you in such a big way. So let's dive in. Hello, welcome back, Mama. So excited to be here with Ashley today. Ashley, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast today. How's everything going so far?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So let's get started. If you will, just introduce yourself to the audience and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, my name is Ashley. I'm a married mom of 4. I own a paint company with my husband here in Vancouver, Washington.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Well, let's get a little back into your story and tell us a little bit about your journey. I love that. I know you have the painting business, but reading about your story and hearing like what it took to get you there, I just would love to reflect a little bit about that and what that was like for you as a mom.
Yeah, so we both had in 2016, I had just started a job at a hospital working in accounts payable. My husband had just joined the union. Like he was working, my dad was one of his bosses. That's where he was working. And then 2017, we bought a house. And then towards the end of 17, it was probably beginning of 18, he's like, let's start a paint business. And I'm like, let's not. Like, no, thank you. He's like, well, my friend so-and-so's doing it and this person's doing it and they're doing great. And I'm like, cool. We have 3 kids at the time and a mortgage. No, thank you. You're going to want me to do all the things and the taxes and talk to people. And I don't want to. And he's like, come on, let's do it. He wouldn't leave me alone. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I got licensed and I'm like, all right, we're licensed. We're doing this. And he's like, whoa, no, wait, no, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do this. I'm like, oh, too freaking bad for you because I just paid thousands of dollars to do this. We are doing this. And he's like, oh my God, oh my God. And he's panicking. I'm like, well, we can't leave our jobs. Like we have a mortgage. We have 3 kids. And at the time they were all elementary kids. So I think they were like kindergarten, 3rd and 4th, I think at the time. So you can't just quit your job and and go do the thing. So we did both. We were both at those jobs by then. It was from 16 to 18. So by 18 happened, I was then working at an automotive shop. I had switched because I needed part-time because daycare, anybody who pays for daycare knows how ridiculous that is. And I just couldn't do it anymore. We had went from qualifying for like daycare assistance and it was like maybe $800 a month for us to you no longer qualify because you got this, these 2 new jobs, whatever. You no longer qualify. We're cutting you off. Sorry for you. And it's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I had to go find a part-time job. Not even, it was like 30 hours. So while the kids were in school, I was at work. I dropped them off, went to work, got off work, picked them up. I worked exactly when they did. And I just had to kind of figure out the non-school days. So then my husband had got like a little connection painting some apartments down in Wilsonville. And I don't know where you're based out of, but we're in Vancouver, Washington. Wilsonville's like with no traffic, 45 minutes from us. So we would go paint these things for dirt cheap. I think it was like $200 to $300 per unit. So he would get off work first. He would go get him started. I would get off work, go get the kids from school, grab like a 7-Eleven pizza, go drive down there with the kids. And we're all there painting these apartments until like 10 o'clock at night. And then next day, same thing. We would do that multiple times a week. I mean, once the kids had sports, obviously I had to back off a little bit with that. But we did that for a while. And then COVID happened. And commercial, which that's what my husband worked in, was commercial drywall, had just like tanked. There was no work. Everything's on hold. You can't get doors. Then you can't put in drywall, all the things. And thank God my dad was one of his bosses. And I said, Dad, I'm busy. Can I have Luis? I need him. He's like, yeah, take him. We have no work. And I'm like, okay, cool. Another week goes by. Dad, I need him. Can I have him? Have him. And that just kind of kept happening and happening. So eventually he just worked full time for us. We had already had one of his brothers working part time for us here and there when we needed him because we didn't necessarily have enough work to sustain him fully, but he would help us when he could. So then COVID happened, residential skyrocketed. We know what happened with the housing market. We know what happened with the commercial market. So we just got busier and busier. And then another brother came on to help us. And then in 2021, I had to leave my job. I could no longer do it. They were calling me, I need paint, I need this, I need that. I've got an estimate, I need all these things. And I'm at work. And I sat right across in the same office from my boss. And I'm just like, oh God, every time she'd go to the bathroom, okay, hurry up and do this, I'd have to. And she knew I owned the business. She helped me get licensed. She told me what to do. She's like, did you file your quarterlies? Like she knew everything. She was amazing. And that is why I didn't want to leave my job. I absolutely loved the company I worked for. They were a mom and pa turned corporate, exactly how my husband and I started. They was a husband and wife, started with a gas station, hardly any money, and an automotive shop. And it was just them two. And they grew it to this multi-million-dollar company. And they were amazing. They treated us so good. They would do the county fair every single year and give every employee money to take their kids on the rides. And if the owner knew, like my husband and I were going to Vegas for the weekend or something, he'd be like, oh, go have some fun. And would just throw like $200 on my desk. And I'm like, oh, okay, awesome. And I knew my boss was going to retire in a few years, and she was the controller. And I think my position was to be set up to then take over that, which I never, ever in my life wanted to do because oh my God, what she did for that company was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So I never wanted to have that uncomfortable conversation with her. And at the time I had a coach, and she's the one that we kept talking about. I'm like, I can't leave. I need it. Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, you don't want to have an uncomfortable 5-minute conversation and just rip the Band-Aid off and get it over with. So then you are no longer miserable 7 days a week because you're trying to get your business done. And I just like the whole light bulb went off in my head. And I'm just like, oh my God, she's absolutely right. I didn't need the income from my job. I really didn't. Like my business was then sustaining us as well. And by then we had already bought another house, sold the last house. We had bought a rental. Like we were doing just fine. We didn't need our 9 to 5. Well, my husband had already left, but I didn't need my job anymore. I was making myself miserable to not have an uncomfortable 5-minute conversation. So one day I was like, all right, I'm just going to do it. I didn't even tell my coach. I did nothing. I just decided that day it's happening. So I just sat there and I'm like, I have to talk to you. And my boss was like, oh God, what happened? And I started crying because I didn't want to have the conversation and I felt bad. And so I just told her and she hugged me. She's like, it's okay. Like that's wonderful for you guys. It's totally fine. So, and I gave her like 3-4 weeks notice. I gave her a very large notice. It was my last day was going to be the kids' last day of school. So I had last day of work, last day of school.
Wow.
And then the next day I was in the park at 12 o'clock having lunch with my kid. And I don't think I had ever done that ever because I always went to daycare. I always went to work. So I'm like, holy crap, it's like Thursday and I'm sitting in the park in the middle of the day with my kid. This is amazing. So I just absolutely loved it. And from there, we just kept growing and growing and growing. And then what was it? We decided to have a baby. All of our kids are now 18, 17, 14, and 1.5.
Oh gosh.
So in 2023, like we've talked about it for years, but we had that like daycare trauma of like we can't afford this. And then once the youngest went to kindergarten, we're like, why do we want to pay daycare again? No, let's not do that. We're free, right? And then we were in like this beautiful, perfect position to have a baby, but also at the same time to not have a baby. So we went back and forth and back and forth. And my daughter's like begging. She was 14 at the time, begging and begging us to like have a baby. My sister had a baby and she's begging and begging us to have a baby. So we just kept going back and forth and back and forth. So we finally decided, all right, we'll have a baby. And I'm like, well, me and all the kids have birthdays in March, so let's have another March baby. And my husband's like, no, I'm in October by myself. Let's have an October baby. I'm like, actually, that makes sense because March is the beginning of our busy season.
Oh,
October is like when everything slows down. So that makes way more sense. And it's like, you're an entrepreneur when you schedule having a baby around busy. And so we did. I like downloaded the tracker app and all the things. And I'm like, all right, now we have to get pregnant now. And so we just totally scheduled it and planned it. And he decided to
wow.
come 10 days late. He was 4 days shy of my husband's birthday because the doctors wanted to induce me. And I'm like, no, no, first of
Oh,
all, I'm having this one natural. I had epidurals with all my others. I'm now 34, like I'm way older. I'm not, no, I don't want the epidural. And I don't want to be induced because I don't want Pitocin. That freaking hurts. And I don't want to do it. And so he wasn't coming. They're like, okay, maximum is 2 weeks. Like we have to get him out at 2 weeks. And I said, you can have him at 2 weeks because that's my husband's birthday. You're not taking him before then. They're like, okay, cool. But he decided to come.
oh
And
gosh.
actually, he
What was,
wanted to come on October 22nd. I was like laying there getting my lashes done. And I'm like, oh yeah, I feel contractions. And I
oof.
left and my husband calls me. He's like, I'm going to go play soccer. And I'm like, all right, well, have someone ready on the phone because I'm having contraction. He's like, oh my God, okay. So I go home, I'm like making dinner and I download the app to start, tracking them. And I'm talking to my family, my little group chat with my sister and my cousins. And they're like, you need to go to the hospital. And I'm like, well, Lisa's still at soccer and I'm cooking dinner. And they're like, so what? Go to the hospital. And I'm like, it's my brother-in-law's girlfriend's birthday and I don't want to have him on her birthday. She's kind of meh. She's not bad, but she's not my favorite person. I was like, and I don't want to have him on her birthday. They're like, you need to go to the hospital.
Wow.
So they were getting like closer and closer. So I called my husband. I'm like, yeah, you need to come home. And he's like, all right, I'm on my way. I'm like, but wait, pass by the other house because his family who works for us lives in our rental like six
Oh,
doors down. So I can see them, when I'm like, hey, get to work. It's time.
nice.
So he's sitting there waiting for the cake, and I'm like, dude, we gotta go now. He's like, well, I'm waiting for your cake. I'm like, it's fine. We'll just have to skip it. I'll get some later. We gotta go because they were just getting more and more intense. So we get to the hospital. It's like 9 p.m. and I'm 6 centimeters dilated by then. And my daughter's like playing soccer for the high school, like 45 minutes away. So my sister in Beaverton drives to go pick her up while I'm in the hospital. And they're like, well, we're going to admit you and we can like break your water now and you can have him real quick. And I'm like, nope, you can't break this water till 12 p.m. because 12 a.m. because he is not being born today. And they're like, oh, okay. Like you're gonna stay in pain. Okay, that's fine. And I walked from like triage too. They're like, do you want a wheelchair? And I'm like, nope. I can do this. I'm just like walking to the room. And then I finally get in there. They get me all on the monitors and stuff. And I wanted to labor in the tub, not give birth in the tub, but labor. So I'm like, my sister finally gets there. So I'm sitting in this tub, like laboring, eating chips and salsa. And finally I let her pop my water at like 12 a.m. and he was born not even 20 minutes later.
Oh yeah.
And then, so I had him on the 24th. I held off. I'm sorry, the 23rd. I
Third, yeah.
held off. I didn't have him on the 22nd when I didn't want
I love it.
to. And here we are now. He's now 1.5 and he's amazing. And all the kids are amazing. My oldest is about to graduate now. But we had gone to Honduras. My husband's from Honduras. I'd gone a couple times, but only during the slow season, only for like a week or two at a time, because it's like, who's going to run my business when I'm gone? I had a friend that could fill in and help one of my employees
Yeah.
go do estimates or something like that. But that, wasn't super ideal. And so, and let me see, I wrote it down because I couldn't remember. In 2023, I hired I guess, a mini Ashley because she does everything I don't want to do. Um,
Love that.
in 2024, my brother-in-law had passed away of cancer.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry.
so that was in March of 24. So we decided, let's go down to Honduras for Mother's Day because that's the first Mother's Day. My mother-in-law would not get a phone call from him on Mother's Day. So also let's bring her the surprise that we're pregnant because none of my husband's family knew. Only a couple of my family members knew. And so I'm like, all right, let's go down there. Like, let's go do this. And so we go, we surprise her. Like, I'm like, you need a distraction that your son's not going to be calling you this year. So we go and we're down there and we stayed for like 3 weeks. My poor employee had only been with us for like a year. She still's not like fully on her own, and she kind of was thrust into that time on her own. There was only a couple fires because
Yeah.
we had rolling blackouts with no electricity for days at a time because it was so hot down there at the time. It was so crazy. So she just kind of had to figure it out. And we're in the river up in these mountains where my husband's from, sitting there one day, and I'm like texting with my employee about a deposit. And he's now 18, so at the time he was 16. He's like, "Wait, so we're down here and you're still getting money in your account right now?" And I'm like, "Yes, as we speak, money is being deposited into our bank account right now." And he's like, "But you're here, not working." And I'm like, "I mean, I kind of am. I'm texting." He's like, "No, but you're like here." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh my God." And I'm like, "Do you remember those days when you were like 8 years old and you would get out of school and we'd go paint apartments until 10 o'clock at night and eat a 7-Eleven pizza? Do you remember those days? And we were working 7 days a week." He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, that's what we were doing. This is right now what we were working towards. So one day we could be here vacationing, living our best life while money is still actively going into our account. And you could just literally see this light bulb go off in his head, just like having this huge epiphany, like, "Oh my God, holy cow." Like it just like clicked. And I was like, had this like so proud mama moment. I'm like, "Oh my God, he sees the fruits of our labor." Like, I don't know. I was so freaking
You
proud.
should be.
Yes, I
Yeah.
was. Yes, I was amazing. And then so since then, now we go for a month at a time. So then I had baby in October, that following October, and we went down there on New Year's Eve. So my baby was 2 months old. We brought him down there as another surprise for my mother-in-law. We didn't tell her we were
Oh,
going. We wrapped him in a box and put him under the Christmas tree
oh my God.
at my husband's cousin's house. And we had ran, so it's like when you go camping. It's one dirt road in and one dirt road out. So if you see somebody driving up that road, you know who they are, or you're like, "Oh, someone's coming from the
Coming.
States. Who's that?" And that time we had rented a car because my husband's car was in the shop. And so she had no idea it was us, but my sister-in-law knew. And so we had this like beautiful surprise. We wrapped him in this little box under the tree, and we're all hiding in the room. And she's like, "Oh my God, the box is moving. Like, what is this?" And she opens it. It's surprise, this little tiny 2-month-old baby. And we stayed there for a month.
Oh,
Um, and I
wow.
remember specifically having this conversation with my current business coach that I have now, and I've been with her since 2022. We were talking about how my husband used to go to Honduras for a month at a time by himself, just him. And I'm like, and I would like kind of resent him for it. I'm like, "Why do you get to go do like why?" He's like, "Well, do you want to go?" And I'm like, "How am I gonna go by myself?" Like, I'm not, no. And he's like, "Okay, well, what do you want me to do?" Like, I'm not gonna not go visit
Yeah.
my mom and my family. Like, and so I was like resenting him for it. And my coach told me, she goes, "Why can't you go?" And I said, "I can't leave my business for a month." And she
Wow.
said, "Why not?" I said, "Who's going to run it? It's not going to run itself. Like, it needs me." And then that's when she was like, "That's why you're hiring an employee. You're going to hire
Yes.
an." And I'm like, "Bullshit. It's not going to happen." I
And
had my
she
first like initial consult. She goes, "By the time we're done working together, you're going to hire an employee." And I'm like, "Yeah, bullshit." I'm like, "Okay," is what I told her. But in my mind, I'm like, "Bullshit. It's not happening." No,
wow.
it happened. It happened a few months later
Yes.
because I had kind of put this word out into the universe in my BNI networking group. And like I was like, "I need an employee." And I was like, "But how do I advertise? I need a female employee. That's so illegal. Like, I can't do that." Like, but I want it to be a woman because I'm a woman that goes into other women's houses because the majority of the people that contact us, we're dealing with the wife or the woman of the house.
Yeah.
And I've gotten many, many feedbacks about how comfortable I made them feel because I was another woman coming in,
Yeah.
and it was always so awkward and uncomfortable for them that it was a man coming into their house. Like, a lot of times they're home by themselves, and having a
Yeah.
strange man come into your house,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
very scary when you're by
Mm-hmm.
yourself, especially in this day and age.
I know.
And so I'm like, I don't want to hire a man to go into women's houses. Like, I want to
Yeah.
hire a woman, but how do I
Yeah.
advertise that and not be illegal about it? So I was having that conversation with a couple people in the group, They're like, yeah, no, I totally get that. And like 2 weeks later, the insurance agent in the group was like, I have an employee for you. She is amazing. Oh my God. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, let's meet. And well, here we are. That was back in 2023. And here we are in 2026. And she's like, I'm never leaving you unless you fire me. So you're stuck with me
Oh my
forever
God, I love
because I
that.
was that mom that needed that flexibility. And my work gave me that grace as much as they could while still being a corporate business. So I give her that as well. So she works in person 3 days a week while her one kid is in school. All now, at the time he wasn't, but she has brought them to the office to work. She works from home. Like
Yeah.
she has huge flexibility that she can still be with her children when she needs to, still work, and she gets a lot done. I just keep piling more stuff on her plate. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe you need either a bigger plate or maybe we need to add another plate for somebody else to maybe munch off of because yours is getting a little full. But yeah, I never thought I'd be able to go and do that and be gone for a month. And now every time we go, it's the whole family for a whole month at a time,
Oh my
every single
goodness.
time. Like we just got back. We went March 25th and we just came. We were supposed to be back
Yeah.
April 17th.
Oh,
However, the
yeah.
oldest, my 18-year-old, I didn't birth him. That's my husband's son, and we brought him when he was 7 years old from Honduras. So in Honduras, when you're
Uh,
born there, you are considered a minor until you're 21. He is now
oh,
a US
okay.
citizen.
Okay. Yeah.
Down there, they want a signature from the parent who's not with you to allow you to leave the country. It's not like the States where if you've
Yeah.
got your passport, like that's your
Yeah.
passport, you're free to go. Well,
Yeah.
down there, no. The
Oh, okay.
last year we had come back when he was only 17 and he had a US passport. They didn't say anything. I think they assumed I was his biological mother. They just he actually kind of looks like me, so they
Yeah.
just they just
Okay.
assumed.
All right.
This year we were kind of
Yeah.
separated when we were
Yeah.
coming back, so they went to a different line when it was different, and he's 18 and they would not allow us to go. Well, they wouldn't allow him to go. And it all
Yeah.
happened within 20, 30 minutes before boarding. So we didn't even get a
Wow.
chance to like decide, okay, who's going, who's staying, what are we doing? So all eight
Oh.
of us stayed because we had additional people with us. We
Oh.
all stayed. He couldn't go home. So then we ended up coming home
Wow.
April 21st instead. So extended the trip. We're like, pivot, everyone. We're
Hey.
we're staying here like almost another week. And
How things.
it works. Like our business,
Yeah.
the way we've set it up and the way things
Mhm.
go now, like
Yeah.
it allows it to work. And the
Yeah.
long-term goal is for us to live half here, half there. And that's when the 14-year-old who will be a freshman next school year, when he graduates, like that's the goal, to live half
Yeah.
here, half there. What's going to happen with the 1-year-old schooling? That kid's going to have to be
Yeah.
homeschooled or
I was
something.
gonna say homeschooling's amazing these days. Like so I have a 4-year-old and well he's about to be 5 in June, and then I have a 6-year-old daughter who'll be 7 in August, and then I have an 18-year-old son who's about to graduate and be in high
Oh, so you
school.
did what I did. You
Yes,
started
I
off
did. I know. Yes,
young.
I had because I had my second one when I was 35 because I know my husband was like he wants another one now, and I'm like I'm about to be 39. I'm good.
You're
Like
like, my body's
I'm like
broken.
I'm done. I'm good. Yes, I want to enjoy it. Well, I'm like on this journey. Like I said, I feel like it's good. I have two that are like pretty much going into elementary school. I mean, I know what mine's in pre-K, but he'll be in kindergarten this year.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I have one graduating going off to college. So it's like, I feel like, especially with me doing the coaching business and everything in the podcasting, like I'm just at a point in my life, like I'm ready for what I want for myself while
Yeah.
also still getting to enjoy having young kids and having one that's older and all the experiences. And I have to say, your story is truly fascinating and beautiful because this is what I want moms to hear. Like,
Yeah.
it's so we hear a lot from the other side of things, like, of when you've arrived and how things are going and how things feel good. Like you say, you literally visioned this and worked your butts off until 10 o'clock at night, painting houses and
Yeah.
charging really
Day of the
little.
week.
Yes, exactly. Doing that. And it's like for your son to see, the benefits and the rewards. I can imagine how that's motivated him because I know my son, I'm still in the messy middle throes of building. Me and my husband are building our businesses, but it's like it's so courageous to see. I know he's seen how I've grown from who I used to be because I was 20 years old when I had him. So it's like it's
Yeah.
amazing that I see him at 18 and he's wanting to go to do business psychology. He's already dreaming of being his own
Yeah.
business owner eventually, and he understands that psychology is very powerful, and he enjoys it. And so it's just it's beautiful, right? To just watch them evolve, and just from watching you and the courageousness of our taking messy action and not
Yep.
knowing what it's gonna, I mean, you didn't know. And I want you to speak to that. So like a mom right now who's listening, who's hearing this story, but maybe she's in that part of like painting walls till 10 o'clock at night with, it might be emails or whatever it is that you're working on, but like in that messy middle part, like what would you say to what helped you? What helped you to keep going amidst those times where you didn't know like where it was going to lead, but you knew you had this vision. You kind of felt like I'm in it, so I'm doing it. Like what helped you to keep going, that to not give up?
First, it started with one day. My husband said, I need one day off. I need Sundays. Give me Sundays. And I said, you, because at the time we had our work, we had our
Yeah.
business, and we had a rental that we
Yeah.
had to do a repipe, a rewire. We
Yeah.
had to do all
Yeah.
these things to it. So it's like 7 days a week we're working. He goes, I need one day. And I said, you are right. We need one day. You can have that. I will not bother you on Sundays. So that's where it started. Just the one
Okay.
day.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were going to Disneyland for a week. And I'm like, I don't want to answer the phone. First of all, I don't want to answer the phone to begin with, but I don't want to deal with this while I'm gone. Like, I'm totally a millennial, right? Like, someone knocks on my door, like, oh my God, hit the deck. I'm not answering the door. Oh my God, none of numbers calling me. Don't freaking answer it. I can't do this, right? Because like we were latchkey kids, like, don't answer the door, don't answer the phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like back in the
Oh
day,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
So I am still like this. I'm traumatized. Somebody's ringing on my bell, and I'm like, oh
Yes.
my God, hide. Like, who is it? Nobody should be.
I have
It's
the
still
ring
me.
door. I have the camera ring doorbell so I can see who's showing up.
I can see it and I'm still like, oh my God, anxiety. Like, who is this? I'm still the same way. So I was like, I need someone to answer the phone when I'm gone. So I was like, all right. I called, what was it? Like Ruby Reception or something. It was like a VA, right? And it's like a free trial. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. And my husband's like, no, we're not pay. We can't pay for stuff. We can't afford it. I'm like, okay, I'm still freaking doing this. I don't care. I'm still doing it. It's a free trial. Well, that free trial turned into long term because I loved it. They answered my phone for me when I was gone, scheduled my appointments, did my things, and then I switched to a different VA. And then now it's actually my sister who answers the phone for us.
Nice.
Um, so just one step at a time. Start with one day because when
Yeah.
you're working, running a business, and have all the things and the kids, start with one day. And
Yeah.
then from there, it can become two. And then from there, you can rip the band-aid off once you're financially ready, like I did, to have the uncomfortable conversation. If it's uncomfortable,
Yes.
maybe it's very liberating for you, and you just are like so excited to have that conversation. I was not, because
Yeah.
my work was amazing to me.
Yeah.
But start with one day and then make it two. And then once you can see your finances and your bills are paid and your kids are taken care of and you can financially afford it, go ahead and do that. Take the leap of faith. The other
Yeah.
thing, have a coach. Hire a coach. Hire a freaking coach. Like my contract was like a 9-month contract with my first coach, and that was in 20, not my first coach, my second coach. That was in 2022, and I'm still working with her.
Yeah.
I went
Hmm.
to I went to Mexico with her because she does this like expansion trip. She does
I
these
love
things,
it.
and I still work with her. I actually
Yeah.
today at 12 o'clock have a meeting with her, and
Yay.
she's always on me because we've for years, and this is probably why
Mm.
I'm an entrepreneur, is because I have ADHD recently diagnosed.
Oh my God, girl, I have that too.
I tried a couple years ago to get diagnosed, and the therapist was like, well, you did good in school, you had good grades, it
Yeah, so
wasn't an
what?
infant, I can't diagnose you. And I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me? It was so discouraging. Like, I wanted to cry. I'm like, this is not normal.
Yeah.
I cannot sit down and get 3 tasks done, even if they're simple. Like, something's got to give. Like, this is not
Yeah.
normal, right? And I'm just like drowning in simple work because I
Yeah.
just can't sit down and get it done.
Ah.
I finally got the diagnosis. Like right before I went to Honduras, I got the
Oh.
diagnosis. But now we're just now trying like medications and stuff. And my
Ah.
coach was all sorts of excited for me because
Oh.
hallelujah, maybe I'll, get more stuff done. Like working with
Yeah.
her helps me to get my stuff done. But
Yeah.
like, did you do this? Nope, not yet. Nope, I
Yes,
haven't.
yes, yes.
Have to tell the deadline.
Yeah, but I mean, but that I think that's beautiful because people just don't really grasp sometimes the concept of how powerful having a coach by your side is to help you like stay on track and to keep going, stay motivated,
Yeah.
help you even to just see your blind spots. Because like you say that when she pointed out to you that it really was that you were just not wanting to have that uncomfortable conversation, like that's so powerful in helping you to reframe and even acknowledge and have awareness around that. because you were
Yeah.
worried about how you were worried about disappointing someone else too. And it's like, and that's part of, for me, I was a people pleaser. So I
I
know
I
that is
still
a
am.
huge, yeah, that's something I'm totally always working on too, because it's like I've had to learn like boundaries is a huge thing I love working with moms about, because that is the one thing that is so freeing when you start honoring and creating healthy boundaries, whether it's with your kids, your jobs, your spouse. I mean, I even just recently, one of the biggest boundaries that I love that I've created is my sleep. I love my sleep. And you know, if when it comes to a time that I feel tired, I'm not going to fight it. Just so I'm worried that my husband might feel bad because I'm not hanging out with him late or whatever it is. And so I've
Yeah.
learned how to be like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm going to go get my sleep. And it's something so simple, but so powerful. And making sure that you rest, you reset, you do what you fill your cup up, you do what you need for yourself. And look at you. I mean, like, look, I mean, and look at the reaction and the response that she had. Like, it's like we get so worried sometimes
Oh
of like
yeah.
how someone's going to respond and how it's going to affect them. And then she was all like happy for you. And it was like, oh, what was I
Yeah.
so upset about? Like, why was this so much harder? Because we do that to ourselves. And
I
this is
was
where
so much more
coaching does.
worried about how she was going to feel than how
Yeah.
miserable I was because I could not, I was drowning. I was just
Yeah.
freaking drowning so bad. And I was so much more worried about how she was going to feel that I was leaving.
Yeah.
I was
And
like,
And
why?
that right there is just, that's moms in so many areas. We do that to ourselves because we're
Yeah.
just so worried about how it affects everything else or everyone else. We will kill ourselves and suffer internally, you know, and that's why I'm
Yeah.
so passionate about like sharing this and having these conversations and encouraging people to get the support, because it is hard. If you were on your own, I know me, especially on my own, like I will talk myself out of things. I'm so grateful for the coach that I work with, because she helps me always to check in, to stay accountable, to see, like I said, all my blind spots, but also just to just be a sounding board even, because a lot of times that's what the coach is. It's like someone you can just take, let it all out, and then almost like have your own revelations within that conversation of
Oh
like, you
yeah.
know, what do I need to do? Where am I stuck? Where do I need clarity right now? So I think that's amazing that you found one, and one that you still work with too after all these years. That's
Yeah.
even,
She's amazing.
oh, that is incredible. That's incredible. And I also, you know, would love to share a little bit more too about, you know, the family and how everyone's incorporated in that too with your husband and things like. Is he working with you currently in the business as well?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
He
So
doesn't
that's
like to let people know that he's an owner. We just call him the foreman because then people put him like on the spot when he's on a job.
yeah.
Oh, what would it be to do this? And he's like, you got to call Ashley or Kellen is the employee. She's like, you got to
Yeah.
call it. He's like, you got to call one of
Yeah.
them. Like, I don't know. He doesn't like people knowing he's the owner.
Oh, does he
He hates
not?
it. He absolutely hates it. And so I'm like, okay, that's fine. I will own this like CEO boss babe role. Like
You are a CEO, girl. I mean, how funny is it that he's the one who convinced you and convinced you and convinced, it was like putting it in your ears, like planting that seed. And then the moment you took action, he's all like, all of a sudden, he's like, no, no, no. And that's
Yeah.
again what we do to ourselves, right? It's like the
Well,
idea of
I
actually executing.
we are so yin and yang, right? Like
Yeah.
he's usually more reserved. He's very like he saves all his money. He's more like, nope, I'm not taking any risk. And I'm like, let's do it. The
That's
business, not so much initially, right? But then once I had the ball, I freaking ran as fast as I could with that thing. Like, I'm like, all right, let's go. So, in all honesty, there was a little bit of like competition there because we had some great friends.
yeah.
Well, not so much competition, but like, haha, I can do this better than you. I mean, I guess competition. I don't know.
Yeah.
We had some great friends who had started theirs before then. But once they started making money, the wife just turned into this other person. Like she, like, you know, that girl's intuition,
Yes.
you can feel the cattiness.
Yeah.
It was there. And I was telling my husband, he's like, you're just being jealous because she's making money. I'm like, absolutely not. We partied in our house when she didn't even have any furniture. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm so happy for them and excited for them. But she's being weird with me. And he's like, no, no, he couldn't see it. He couldn't
Yeah.
see it. And whatever. So I distanced myself from that.
Yeah.
And then she wasn't happy when we started our business. And then I'm like, whatever, like we're just not even friends anymore. And then my husband eventually could see it a little bit. And then we had another husband and wife friends, same thing. They wanted to start their business. And I didn't know this at the time. Eventually I got in contact. I was talking to that wife and
Yeah.
she was telling me what had happened with that other couple that, you know, we kind of fell out with. And I was like, oh my God, the same thing with me. And she's like, no way. And I'm like, yes way. And she's like, that's why I haven't got my license. Like she just really discouraged me. And I'm like, oh no, girl, you're getting your license. So I was like, you're doing it. She goes, well, I got it. She goes, but I'm not like pursuing it. And I'm like, no,
Mhm.
you're doing this. You're
Yeah.
pursuing it. You are absolutely doing this. So I like hooked her up with BNI and I'm like, you're going to find customers here. You're going to talk to this person. I would, when
Aw.
there was jobs I couldn't take on because we were too busy or whatever. I don't like just telling a customer no. I would like, if I can, if I'm not the right fit or whatever it is, I would rather say, hey, try this company. I trust them.
Yes.
They're great. I would send her business. She'd send me business. Her and I are both doing great, flourishing in our businesses.
Yeah.
The other couple is now divorced and no longer have a business.
Yeah. Well, you know why you're that you guys are in the abundance and growth mindset of like there's plenty enough for all of us, and that is
Immunity over competition.
thank you. Yes, and then and that's what happens to those people who
Yeah.
because I see that in family, even like where there's
Oh, yeah.
jealousy, there's like no support at all. Like they will go out of their way to even not get a customer, even though they could refer over and help the customer even and help us out, but it's like they will not do it just because they don't want, they don't want to see us succeed. And it's like it's so sad that some people are like that. But I've learned
It
along the way, it is a lot of it's not thing to take personally, it's a projection of who
is.
they are and where they're at in their lives. And some people they're just stuck with that scarcity mindset, especially sometimes people who actually have money can be surprisingly very stingy and very
Oh,
weird with their
yeah.
and I can understand it. There's no judgment because I feel like as somebody who grew up poor, like I've seen both sides of like where if I get money, I'm very like scared to spend it because I'm so scared of
That's my
losing it
husband.
because I know what it's like to be homeless. And so it's like I have that, I've had to do that work too with coaching and everything on myself and with my coach because my relationship with money was a huge eye opener for myself of like how I was hindering myself to receive abundance, to open, because apparently I felt this fear around money and having it because I always was afraid I was going to lose it. Therefore, I was literally blocking myself from receiving it. So I think that is powerful and who we surround ourselves with too. Like those
Yeah.
who are there to support you, to uplift you, to help you find your way. Those are the people you want.
Yep.
Anyone, that's the real amazing people to surround yourself with. And I've had to learn that sometimes that means losing friends, losing family, distancing yourself, loving from afar if you have to, but you got to
Absolutely.
do what you got to do for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love helping the little underdog because I was that. Like I asked our friends, I said,
Yeah.
"Well, how do you find customers? Like where can I go find my own customers?" They just call me. And I'm like, "No, they freaking don't. Nobody just calls you. They don't know you." And so I was like, "Okay, cool. Like I see where this is going." So it was kind of like a little drive to be like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I got this. Here, hold my beer, watch me." And that's kind of what happened there. And I just like took off with it because
Yeah.
I made the connections. I found this amazing thing back in the day. It's no longer really existent anymore,
Yeah.
especially like it was. It's called the Mob, the mom owned
Mhm.
business, which was local here, all about mom owned businesses. Every networking meeting, there was kids there for sure. There's a mama with a kid on her hip, and would
Yeah.
take your kids. It didn't matter. The founder built her own table. There was no networking table for her as a mom, so she built her own. It doesn't really exist anymore with between COVID and
Yeah.
the riots and all those things that happened. It got real ugly and
Yeah.
it just kind of slowly dwindled. I think the Facebook page still exists, but it's
Yeah.
not definitely not what it was. So I grew a
Yeah.
lot from that. And the connections I made from there, I still have those connections. And it was really, really, that was really, really where I learned the community over competition and helping out others. There was another mom who owned a paint business, started a year after me. She had like friend requested me, and I kept seeing her name pop up in there. She friend requested me. I'm like, she wants my secrets. Why does she want to be my friend? Who is she? And I'm like, oh my God, stop having that mindset. Just accept it. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like having this like internal conflict with
Yes.
myself and I accepted it. And here we are. We are friends. I send her work. She sends me work. We bid on the same jobs and we're like, what did you bid? And we're like, we're talking about it. And she's like, well, I bid this because I saw blah, blah, blah. She goes, oh my God, I didn't even see that. And I'm like, yeah, girl. Or she'll tell me. And I'm like, oh crap, you're right. I'm like, you bid it first. I'm going to bid higher. So hopefully they choose you. Like we will do that because we're friends. We're like, this is what we do. And it's like, I want her to grow. I want to, like, we want each other to grow. We also, my husband has an acquaintance that he knows from soccer for many years who had a roofing company, and they were chatting and talking, and they're like, I did like 3 roofs this year. Like, I don't know where to get work. Like, I'm gonna have to go back to work. And my husband's like, oh no, have your wife talk to my wife. She likes doing that stuff. She likes to help people with that. And so I'm like, like, excuse me, I don't know her. Like, what are you doing? And so he puts us in contact. We are now best friends. She just went to Honduras with me.
Oh my
She's buying
gosh.
a property. She's buying a property right next to our property.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I
Uh,
love it.
and they do roofs all year long now. When they had only done like three roofs in
Yeah.
over a year, they had like no business. And I was like, girl, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Here they are. They are living and surviving on this business. And
Wow.
it's a similar story, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I like helping the underdog. Like, let's go. And it's
Yes.
like so exciting to see them grow, like other
Yeah.
people grow, because it's like I remember what it was like and not having
Yeah.
anyone I knew help me. It was the strangers on the internet that helped me because I had
Yeah.
asked in the Vancouver, Washington moms group. And I'm like, I just started a business. Where can I network and find clients? And they said, go to the mob. And my sister's like, what's the mob? Money over bitches? And I'm like, I mean, kind of, but no.
Love it.
I was like, it's mom owned business, but I guess that works too.
I love that.
So from there, I like grew these connections. A real estate agent who started flipping
Hmm.
back in 2018, she just started doing that when I just started my business. We paint every single one of her projects. And then she
Yes.
like pimped me out to her whole office. Like I work with multiple people in that real estate office. And I do projects with all of them all the time. And I have amazing relationships with them.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I do encourage people like go out there and just meet people and like don't get upset too about like cold messaging people. I've actually made such amazing friendships and connections from just sending a message and letting people know who I am and what I do and just putting it out there. Like whether, they need my support or not, but hey, we could just collaborate or just build a connection. Like I love meeting new people because that is exactly what it takes sometimes is meeting that right person at the right time and then just knowing the right people, even if they're not for you, or they could be the right person for you, who you never
Yeah.
know, but you won't know if you just stay reserved and never allow yourself to meet new people. I need to get it back up and going. I used to host my own networking event for moms, but then things got a little like chaotic. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll put a pause on it for now. But I do love networking. I really do. It's
You have
powerful.
to.
It's
You
a great,
have to.
yeah. Yeah, you do. And it's like I want people because some people will have like this perspective that, oh, if I go to a networking event, I'm just going to be sold to. And I'm like, okay, first of all, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to change the story you're telling yourself around sales because your business is not going
Again.
to succeed without sales. We all need sales. So it's not a matter of like, oh, someone's selling to me, how dare they? It's more of like, oh, wow, I'm proud of them. They're just sharing who they are, what they do. And if it's not for me, I have every right to be like, thank you, but I don't need it. But hey, maybe I know someone who does. I'm
You
like that too.
absolutely know somebody that needs it.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot with BNI as well, and it's giver's gain, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you're giving out there, you will gain. You
Oh, yes.
absolutely will. And it's like, it's
Oh,
not
yes.
what you know, it's who you know. And when
Hmm.
I first joined BNI, I'm like, how am I gonna have referrals for? I don't freaking know. I don't have any referrals. No, we are in people's homes all day, every single day. We absolutely have referrals for people. We absolutely do. And people will ask me, who do you know that does this? Who do you know? I'm like, I got you. And if I don't know, I will ask my group of people who will know somebody. Like
Yeah.
I have somebody for everything because of how much I've networked. It is amazing how much you learn and how many people you meet because you're networking. So that was something you asked me earlier, like what would I tell mamas? Find a day, take a day and network your freaking butt off. Like when you're new,
Yes.
especially, you have to show up. You
Yeah.
show up or nobody's going to know who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even with posting, I know that even for me, I mean, if I'm being honest, especially when I first got started, I was so nervous about that. I was like, oh my God, like how is people gonna, especially working the day job that I did, I was like nervous about how it was gonna look, how people it was gonna affect things or what it was. And I'm like, no, I had to get to the point too. I had to work through that and be like, you know what, Mary, I'll never know what I'm capable of or what I'm meant for if I don't just do it and stop worrying about everything else externally. And it's been amazing. Like here I am, season 3 of my podcast. I'm growing. I'm meeting people all over the world, giving them the opportunity to share their stories. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm evolving in so many ways personally and professionally, like that I never thought possible. And I'm just getting started. So I'm like super
Yeah.
excited to see where it takes me to. And I love to see you're such an inspiration, Ashley, seriously, because
Thank
I
you.
mean, there's so many people who are dreaming this life and they're just not allowing themselves to take the risk or to just get started. And sometimes people just don't realize how powerful just getting started is because yes, I don't care who you are, you're gonna have it's gonna be hard. I
Yeah.
mean, nothing that's worth having is ever just going to be handed to you, but you'll never even know what that's like or what's possible if you don't just, like you say, take one day at a time, one step at a time, put yourself out there, allow it to be
No
messy
matter how
too.
big or small you are. My
Yeah.
employee that I have now and
Mhm.
how I got in connection with her is because she was not working. She had her babies. The schedule wasn't working, but she kept networking. Even she was not
Ah,
working. She didn't have a job and she was
yeah.
still networking and she was still putting her name out there. Said, "Hey, I'm working for a job for blah 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 blah." And that's how Jeff,
See?
the not real estate, I'm sorry, the insurance agent was
Hmm.
like, "Oh my God, like this person just said this person just, oh my God, here's the connection." And that's
Yeah.
here, like
There you
put
go.
it out into the universe. Like
Earth. Yep.
what you project out, that's what you're going to get out. So if you're putting negativity out there, it's going to be negative. You're not going
Yeah.
to see any of the beauty in anything. You have to talk positivity into yourself, into the world.
Yes.
What is the word that I'm looking for? When you manifest.
Manifest. Yes.
Manifesting.
Yes.
Yes, you have to
Yes.
manifest everything, like literally
Yes.
everything. Also, you need
Hmm.
to have like a little circle of friends with therapy because my
Yes.
my best friend, who's the roofing company, it's her and her husband,
Hmm.
and then her and I took a class at the Northwest College of Construction, and I ran into a guy that I went to high school with, like known him since high school. He went to college, worked at Nike, and I'm like, "What are you doing here? You're working at Nike. What are you doing in a construction class?" He goes, "No, I own a flooring company now." And I'm like, "Oh my God, what? That is
Wow.
insane." So him, myself, and Maria, my roofer friend, we're in a group chat, therapy sessions like all day long. I mean, he doesn't do the flooring with his wife. She actually has assisted living home that they're
Mhm.
just now opening. So they're doing that business. She's a nurse. He's a flooring, like all the things, right? So they have their stuff, husband and wife team. Maria has her stuff, husband and wife team. I have mine. And so where it's like 1 week it's his turn to, vent and complain and I need my help, help. And then her turn. And then like, it's just back and forth. You have to have those too.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
it's great having friends, like regular friends like you always had. A lot of times they won't understand what you're
Yeah.
going through as a business owner. So you need business owner friends as well. So you can vent and have those therapy sessions because they're amazing.
Oh my
Like,
gosh, they are. No, girl, I have that. I like since
especially
I
if you're a
started, yes, exactly. Since I started my podcast, like there was one person in particular that we still meet to this day, years later. Actually, there's two that I've been meeting for years with, and we do it every other week. And it's like everything. It's so everything. And I love the fact because I'm telling you, it's like the consistency of having that bond, of having those connections. Oh, there's just nothing like it to keep you
Oh
going and to
yeah,
get you through stuff. I mean, there's
absolutely.
nothing like it. So if you don't have that and you're listening, I just come into our world. You can come and join our circles. I'm always
Yes,
like, I always love bringing
absolutely.
people into my circle. I'm like, come on, this is what I do. This is what I'm passionate about helping people because I know it's possible, even if I'm not always there yet with certain things, but I've already seen so much unfold in my life as someone who's come from what I've come from, like that I just, oh my gosh, it's so exciting to just see and know and trust that things are unfolding exactly as they're meant to. And I'm now just arriving and showing up for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like you can go anywhere in your life. I mean,
Yeah.
I was raised by a single father. My mom struggled with drug addiction my entire life. We actually just yesterday had her memorial service. She just passed in January.
Sorry.
So we had our issues for sure. Love her still to this day, even though she wasn't there a whole lot in my life. But it's like I was raised by this single father who did everything by himself. I moved out when I was 16 because I was a big girl and I don't like dad's girlfriend. I'm not living with her, so I'm going to move out and get emancipated. So moved out when I was 16, paid my bills, figured out life, had a baby on my 19th birthday, had another baby like right before I turned 22 or right after I turned 22, got married 6 months later. And like my husband and I knew each other for 6 months. That's it. We got married and it's been 14 years.
Oh,
We did everything literally backwards. But here we are. We're so
yeah.
freaking opposite. He's like,
Yeah.
we're the same, but at the same time
Yeah.
opposite. Like yin and yang, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
he grew up very, very dirt poor, like how my grandma grew up on the reservation. So I'm native, and my grandma's from the reservation back in North Dakota. Dirt floors, no electricity, no water. That was my husband. That's how he grew
Mm.
up in Honduras. He had nothing, literally nothing. Like he
Oh,
played with a corn cob as a car. Like that's, he had nothing.
yeah.
And then he came to the States and he just worked his butt off 24/7.
Yeah.
And dad wasn't rich, but I didn't wonder where my next meal was coming from. Like played competitive soccer, or not soccer, softball. Sorry, my kids are soccer kids. Like I never
Yeah.
needed, right? Like my dad provided everything.
Yeah.
So I'm the opposite. I'm like, No,
Yep.
money's still coming in. I can buy this. Money's going to always come in, right? It comes and goes. I'll be fine. So we're very opposite when it comes to that. And I think this is why things work.
Yes, me and my
Because,
it's so funny. Like me and my husband are like opposite. Like, well, he had his father was a doctor, and it's so weird because you would think that someone like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, he never like struggled or whatnot as far as financially having a roof over his head and food, but he had almost more of a poor upbringing than I did because they were very like they held their money a lot. They do birthdays or Christmas and things like that. Where I grew up with a single mom, my dad really wasn't in my life. And so, and she, although we were not wealthy growing up, like you wouldn't be able to tell because she did everything she could, including
yeah.
putting herself in a lot of debt to make sure that we always had certain things. So it's like weird the differences, right? And so and I mean, and then my husband, of course, is like actually, I think now he's in that point of like he wants to spend, spend, spend because he kind of felt deprived. And I'm sitting here like,
Yeah.
no, we got to be mindful of our money. So it's funny, like you say, that the opposites and how we can attract, but we're very complementary to each other because I feel like we
Yeah.
both have these different perspectives, even with parenting that help us to be strong parents together because we get to bring in different perspectives and different point of view, all sorts of things of our upbringing, but also what we're choosing. Because that's another thing too. It's like I'm working to break a lot of my generational conditioning that I had. So I mean, even that has been a powerful move for us and really, really deciding and choosing like, well, how do we want to parent? How do we want to live our lives? What do we want
Yeah.
to believe in? Because we were taught certain things and there's a lot of things that we didn't even realize were put in us that didn't belong to us. So it's like unlearning and then relearning like how we want to be has been it's been incredible. So
Why does our generation have to break all the generational curses? Like,
right?
I
Hey.
guess, like our parents' generation, the women were like fighting to like vote and like not need
Yes.
a man, I guess. So I guess we have to break the generational trauma. Like, I don't know.
I know. But hey, you know what's so cool for me with my mom is like seeing her change in the way she is just from me changing and how I've helped her shift from because she grew up in a lot of negativity, a lot of poverty, a lot of certain things that she's gone through, but it's like it's so beautiful to see how she's evolving, how she's changing just
Yeah.
because of my journey and my growth and how I share things with her and what she sees. So there's a ripple effect too. And I'm like, you know what? That's okay. I'm just glad to be able to be in a place in our lives where we get to make
Yeah.
that change, where we get to
For
have a
real.
different story and we get to change the narrative. And so I think it's a blessing. So I'm so excited to meet people like you. Seriously, Ashley, you are such a blessing to this world.
Thank
And
you.
if someone wanted to follow your journey and learn more about you, where would you say is the best place for them to connect with you?
We're on Instagram. We're our website as well. We've got our blog post, our newsletter goes out as well.
Nice.
Tells us like, hey, we just came back from Honduras. Like tells you all the things to
Love
keep up
it.
with Ashley, I guess. It's
Yeah.
really like, yeah, it's a like literally a family business. My husband and I own it. All the employees except two are like blood related, but it's really kind of more about me.
Let's be real, right?
Yeah, it's like the newsletter said, like it's more me talking
I
to you
love
than
it.
anything. Like
I
Luis tries
love
to stay in the background, and all the guys. So we have like our social media girl comes out, and the guys are just like, they're like kind of trying to hide, and they're all really shy. And I'm like, sorry guys, we're recording today. So they do. They're troopers.
Yeah.
They do all the things they need to do. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we are our website. You can sign up for our newsletter, our blog, all the things. We are
Awesome.
out there because if you don't show up, no one's gonna know who you are.
Exactly. And I'll make sure all of that's in the show notes as well for everyone to just click and connect with you because you are amazing. And I
Thank you.
always open the floor. Is there any final piece of advice that you would love to leave with moms today?
I think just show up. Just show up. Let me give you a little, I wrote down a little timeline here. So 2017, we bought our first house, right?
Yeah.
2018, we started our business. 2019, we bought a new house, sold our first house. 2020, my husband left his job. 2020, we also bought our first rental. 21, I left my 9 to 5. And so in 2020, we did $360,000. 2021, we did 586. 2022, we bought our house we live in now while keeping our other house, and we did 776,000. 2023, I hired my first like office employee and we hit $1 million. 2024, that's when I took my first 3 week trip to Honduras because I had an employee, because I
Yes.
listened to my coach and did the things my coach told me to do, and we hit 1.2 million. And we're still
Wow.
going. And granted, the economy is a little funky right now. So don't get discouraged. Keep showing up, keep going. it'll
Yes.
get better, right? Like you
Yes.
got to ride the wave. The economy is
Yes.
not a flat lake. It is an
Yeah.
ocean. It's got waves. You got to ride the waves. Don't get discouraged and just keep showing up.
Oh, beautiful, Ashley. Ashley, thank you again so much for sharing all of this amazing stuff. Your journey is incredible and super inspiring. I can't thank you enough for being part of the show.
Yes, thank you. I really appreciate you having me. It was wonderful.
Before we wrap up today's episode, I just want to say how much I appreciated Ashley with this conversation. She is such a giver and truly one of those people that you want in your circle. And what she shared wasn't just about business growth, it was about resilience, consistency, family, community, and continuing to show up even when the outcome isn't guaranteed yet. And Mama, I really hope you take these reminders with you today. Big growth often begins with very small, imperfect steps. You do not have to have everything figured out before you begin. Community and relationships matter more than trying to do everything alone. Freedom is built intentionally, one decision, one boundary, one system at a time. You are allowed to ask for support and create space for yourself too. The hard seasons do not mean your dreams aren't possible. If you loved today's conversation, make sure you go connect with Ashley and check out everything she and her family are building. Her information will be linked in the show notes. And if this episode encouraged or inspired you today, make sure you're subscribed, leave a review, and share it with another woman who might need this reminder too. Your support truly helps this podcast continue reaching more moms who are trying to build meaningful lives, businesses, and futures for themselves and their families. Thank you so much for being here and growing alongside me through every season of this journey. And until next time, Mama, keep taking those brave small steps, keep trusting what you're building, and keep believing that the life you dream about is created one intentional choice at a time. Much love.